friend Dusty, and I'm the G-Force Product Sales Manager for Gorbel. Today we're going to talk about the soft touch pneumatic and electric control handle line that is an accessory to the G-Force product line. And the soft touch handles are either an electric or a pneumatic version of one of these handles that you see on the table here. So starting out, we've got 1 button handles, we have 2 button handles, we also have 3 button handles that either have the offset to the right or to the left, and then we have a 4 button handle. And those are the 4 different types of control handles we have, the basic form factors. Now, getting into what these actually do and how they're built up is the next step. We want to talk about a little bit is the valve blocks and electric blocks that can make up these handles. So of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 button handles, every handle is made up or consists of one of 5 different blocks. So the one that we have first here is what we call the rear exhausting 3-port valve. So the rear exhausting 3-port valve is for pressurizing and depressurizing or exhausting a canister or a tank or an air balancer in the material handling industry. So the way this one works, and we're going to demonstrate this in a second here, but the way this works is you have incoming air, and one button, when it's depressed, will send air outbound to the vessel that you're pressurizing, and then when you press the other button, it will bring back and exhaust the air out of the vessel that you're pressurizing. The second block we're going to talk about is the 2-button pilot block. So the double pilot block has an incoming air and then 2 outgoing. So with this one, you simply are piloting air. You're sending an air signal. So you bring air into here, and when you press one button, it sends air out of one side of the block, and you press the other button, and it sends air from the other side of the block. And then we have a single block, a single version. You can see it looks similar to the rear exhausting 3-port valve, but it's thinner. But this is actually a single pilot block. So this will work the same as the double pilot block, except that it only has one button. So incoming air, when I press this button, it will send air outbound. When I release it, it stops. And then on the electric side, we have either 1 or 2 button electric switches. And these, again, all these blocks are the same form factor, so you can mix and match if you need to, or you can have all electric or all air. But you have, with switches, you either have a 1-button switch block or a 2-button switch block. And we simply have actuators on the front. When you press the actuators, it will activate the switch. When you release it, it deactivates the switch. And again, available in 1 and 2 button blocks. Okay, real quick, I want to talk about the technical specifications for the electric and the pneumatic blocks. The pneumatic blocks are rated for 19.5 CFM at 90 PSI. So that's not going to run a huge load. They're mainly for piloting other devices. So you're going to have to pilot a larger valve if you need very high flow. On the electric side, the electric switches are rated for up to 3 amps at 24 volt DC, or 3 amps up to 24 volt DC, and 1.5 amps up to 240 volts AC. So those are the specs on the blocks. So from that point, we want to get into, actually, I'm going to show you how these handles behave when you actually apply air to them. So what I'll do is I'm going to start out by showing you the rear exhausting 3-port valve. So this switch, this 3-button switch we have here is actually made up, if you were to look closely at it, you're going to see this is an electric switch, which I don't have hooked up. We're just going to talk about the air now. This is actually one of the rear exhausting 3-port valves here. And I've got incoming air, and I've got a balloon on the output, so I can show you how this is going to behave when we actually apply air to the valve. So what I'm going to do is take this incoming air here, I'm going to apply it to the valve, and I've got my pressurize and release. So when I press this button right here to pressurize, the balloon, you'll see I can meter out how fast I want that, and I can go either very fast or very slow. Now, the rear exhausting 3-port valve will maintain pressure inside whatever you're pressurizing. It'll wait until you give it the exhaust command by pressing this lever, and at that point it will start to exhaust. You have the same good, consistent control and flow of that lever right there with the exhaust function, okay? Now the reason that is, so the reason we have good depression force, very even depression force, and we also have that good control is because although these handles might look similar to other handles you might see out in the field, Gorbel designed these handles to be drop-in replacements with a significant improvement of we use a spool valve instead of the poppet valve that most competitors use. So the spool valve, in a nutshell, the spool valve does not increase in pressure with the increase in incoming air pressure. So in other words, a poppet valve, incoming air pressure actually helps seat a poppet valve, which means that you have to overcome depression force. So if this was a poppet valve and I had incoming air here, if I cranked up the PSI to 100 and I tried to press this button, I'd have to overcome 100 pounds of pressure and before that poppet valve would open. Once it opened, then I would have a lot of force on there, and I would want to go right down. That's why you're going to see operators in the field using a feathering technique to try to keep good control with that poppet valve. Now, on the other hand, the spool valve, which you just saw me use here on the Gorbel handles, is the incoming air comes in adjacent to the valve, so the valve is always the same. So you get a good smooth depression force regardless of incoming air control. So you're going to be able to use that good control without any change, significant change in the startup and the movement throughout the entire stroke. Okay, so I just showed you the rear exhausting 3-port valve. Now I'm going to show you the pallet valve. Now I'm going to show you the 2-button pallet valve. On this one I have 2 balloons. We're going to apply air to our incoming, and I've actually color coordinated the balloons here to the levers. So when I press this one, that's going to behave both the single and the double. So this is a double block, which is this one right here. So this is the handle that I'm using, this is the block. And then if I were also to demonstrate this single block, they would operate the same. The only difference is there happens to be 1 input and 1 output on this one. With this one, you have 1 input and 2 outputs. Okay? So now same thing on this one. As I press, the incoming air is going to come in here. As I press the lever, I can have very good flow control. And you can see I've got really good flow control. I can go very fast, or I can go slow. Now you'll notice on this one, the big difference is whenever I let go of that red button, it's going to exhaust. Okay, these double pallet valves are designed to send an air signal to another device for the most part. If you need to maintain pressure for whatever reason, you will need to add a check valve in line with this output here. Okay, so again, the rear exhausting 3-port we just showed will maintain pressure until it'll wait for you to exhaust with the other lever. The double pallet and the single pallet both do not maintain pressure when you let the valve off. You will need a check valve for that. Okay, then we'll show you the other side, same thing, green button, green balloon, press it. We'll inflate, I've got good control. I can go fast or I can go slow again. When I let off the lever, you'll notice it starts to deflate. But again, watch the control I have. So I've got both very fast control and very light control at the same time. And again, you can't see this, but there is very easy, consistent pressure to activate these levers. All right, next I'd like to talk about the clamp collars, which is the accessory that goes along with this handle. So a clamp collar is what you see here on this 1-inch pipe. So we have actually 4 different sizes of the clamp collars. This is a 1-inch version. We have a 7/8" version, we have an 1¼ inch version, and we have an 1 5/8" version. And these are for different pipe sizes. And I'll show you the reason you would have this is, say you wanted to attach to any kind of round tubing one of our handles. So I've given you just our handle base here, so you can get a feel for what this pattern looks like. So you see there's this arced pattern on the handle itself, and there's a matching bolt circle on the actual clamp collar. So what that allows you to do is attach this handle to any piece of round tubing of the 4 sizes, and then what you can do is, because these holes are separated by 22.5-degree increments, you can actually shift this handle around for comfort of the operator. So what you can do for this, in this case, the reason I like these, they're really flexible. If you were just to hard mount this to something, your operator is going to be stuck wherever you put it. If you use the clamp collar, it affords some adjustability. So you can actually put this on here, If the operator doesn't want to be fixed in this position, maybe they want their hand a little bit rolled forward for comfort, and maybe they want to shift this out a little bit. If you use a clamp collar, you can actually make both of those adjustments in the field, and you're not hard mounted. You have that option available. Okay, so that is the clamp collars that go along with any of the soft touch handles. So as far as applications, we talked about the air, we talked about the electric. Applications, this is part of the G-Force product line. If you have not watched the G-Force videos yet, I encourage you to go on Gorbel website or the Gorbel YouTube channel and watch some of the videos on the G-Force product. It's a great product. But these handles can be used in conjunction with the G-Force lifting device, mainly for end tooling. So they can actuate functions for end effector tooling, like clamp functions that get a hold of your product, vacuum on, vacuum off, clamp on, clamp off, things like that. That's a very typical use for them. The electric switches can be used with our inputs and our outputs for the G-Force product. But outside of the G-Force product line, these soft touch handles, both in the electric version and in the pneumatic version, can be used in really any application anywhere that requires pneumatic control or electric control. So the good news is these can be used in a variety of applications in the material handling industry, in the industrial control industry, or really anywhere any kind of pneumatic or electric control is required. Okay, so that pretty much wraps things up. I hope this video is beneficial for you. If you have any questions, feel free to call customer service at Gorbel or give your local Gorbel distributor a call. Once again, I'm Mark Grandusky, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.